The Lumiat is one of the strangest incarnations of the Master ever created. Unlike every other version of the Master, she is completely good, dedicating her life to helping others and trying to undo the damage her previous selves caused. She exists as the complete opposite of everything the Master has always been. Ironically, despite coming after the Missy's death in The Doctor Falls, the Lumiat first appeared in Big Finish's Missy series and the audio story, The Lumiat. The story follows Missy as she repeatedly finds her plans being sabotaged by a mysterious woman. Eventually, that woman reveals herself to be Missy's own future incarnation. The Lumiat explains that after Missy died in The Doctor Falls, she survived by using a forbidden Gallifreyan device known as a Elysian field. Rather than simply healing her, it stripped away all of the Master's evil while preserving every trace of goodness that remained. The result was the Lumiat, an incarnation devoted entirely to compassion and kindness. At first, Missy believes the whole story is a lie. However, the Lumiat eventually proves who she is. Throughout the story, the Lumiat attempts to manipulate Missy into becoming a better person. She knows the Doctor always arrives to help people during a crisis, so she convinces Missy that acting heroically will eventually lead her to the Doctor. For a brief time, Missy tries to help others, but once she realizes she's being manipulated, she abandons any attempt at redemption and returns to causing chaos. The story ends on a surprisingly dark note. The Lumiat finally decides that killing Missy may be the only way to prevent countless future atrocities, but Missy shoots her first. Before dying, the Lumiat reveals that although the Elysian field separated the Master's goodness from their evil, that darkness was never truly destroyed. When she eventually regenerates, those darker qualities will return. The story strongly implies that the Lumiat regenerates into the Spy Master, making her a brief moment of redemption before the Master's descent back into villainy. I have mixed feelings about this first appearance. Much of the Missy series leans heavily into comedy, and while some of it works, the Lumiat often feels too goofy for the ideas it's exploring. The jokes frequently undercut the emotional weight of the story. The biggest issue, though, is the Lumiat herself. She's described as a purely good version of the Master, but that leaves her feeling surprisingly one-dimensional. She rarely struggles with tension or wrestles with the darkness she's supposed to have overcome. Instead of watching someone constantly fighting against her old nature, we're presented with someone who's almost impossibly virtuous from the start. I think the concept is more stronger than the execution. Our Redeemed Master could have been fascinating if she had been forced to battle the same impulses that defined her previous lives. Instead, the Lumiat often feels less like a master seeking redemption and more like an entirely different person. Her next appearance is masterful, one of Big Finish's best Master anniversary stories, featuring several incarnations of the character together. The Lumiat appears in a dreamlike sequence resembling the ghost of Christmas Future. She urges Missy to surrender her remaining life so that she can take over and continue the Master's existence as a force for good. It's a strange scene, especially since it implies that the Lumiat wants Missy to willingly die. Missy refuses and the Lumiat simply disappears. As odd as that scene is, reinforces the ongoing conflict between the Master's desire for redemption and their inability to fully escape who they are. The Lumiat's final appearance so far is in Once and Future, Time Lord and Memorial. There she joins forces with the Ninth Doctor, the Unbound Doctor, and Lev Chinka to confront the story's threat. Unsurprisingly, the Ninth Doctor struggles to trust her because of everything he knows about the Master. Over the course of the story, however, she proves that her intentions are genuine. By the end, the Doctor accepts her as an ally, although the events of the adventure are erased from his memories. That leaves the Lumiat with only a handful of appearances, but she remains one of the Master's most unique incarnations. Overall, I like the idea behind the Lumiat more than I like the execution. Exploring a version of the Master who has embraced redemption is an excellent concept, especially knowing that she eventually becomes the Spy Master. The tragedy of seeing the Master's greatest chance at becoming a better person inevitably collapse back into evil is a compelling piece of the character's timeline. Gina McKee gets a solid performance as the Lumiat. I just wish the stories they gave her had more complexity. If the Lumiat had constantly struggled against the darkness inside her, instead of appearing almost perfectly good from the beginning, she could have become one of the Master's most fascinating incarnations.